Vaya. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu Nityaṁ bhāgavata-sevayā bhagavati uttama-shloke bhaktir-bhavati nishtike durlabhamanusho deho dehinam shanabhangurai tatrapi durlabham manye Vaikuntha-priyadarshinaha Gurave Gaurichandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet Hare Kṛṣṇa Hare Kṛṣṇa Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear worshipful devotees, thank you again for joining. We are reading the additional notes of Canto 10, Chapter 1 of Srimad-Bhāgavatam. So hopefully we'll complete this. 4 or 5 pages left. So let's try to see if we can do this today. Although the sound vibration of the transcendental qualities of the Lord is equally beneficial to all, for those who are muktas, liberated, it is especially pleasing, as described in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 8th Canto, 3rd chapter, verse 20. Because pure devotees who no longer have any material desires surrender fully to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. They always merge in the ocean of bliss by chanting and hearing the Lord's holy name. According to this verse, devotees like Narada and other residents of Shvetadvipa are seen always engaged in chanting the holy names of Lord, because by such chanting they are always externally and internally blissful. The mumukshus, persons desiring to be liberated, do not depend on the pleasures of the senses. Instead, they concentrate fully on becoming liberated by chanting the holy names of the Lord. Karmis like to create something pleasing to their ears and hearts, and although they sometimes like to chant or hear the glories of the Lord, they do not do it openly. Devotees, however, always spontaneously chant about and remember the activities of the Supreme Lord, and by this process they are fully satisfied, even though these may seem like topics of sense gratification. Simply by hearing the transcendental narrations of the Lord's activities, Parikshit Maharaj was liberated. He was therefore Shrotra Manobhirama. That is, he glorified the process of hearing. This process should be accepted by all living entities. So this verse talks about this paragraph talks about the glories of hearing. Go quite straightforward. All people relish hearing, and based on their desires, they will get benefits. Whether one is muktas, or mumukshus, or karmis, they all like to do this. To distinguish persons who are bereft of these transcendental pleasures, Parikshit Maharaj has used the words Virajet, Puman. The word Puman refers to any person, whether man, woman, or in between. Because of the bodily conception of life, we are subject to the limitation, but one who has no such bodily conception can take pleasure in transcendental hearing and chanting. Therefore, a person fully absorbed in the bodily concept of life is surely killing himself by not making spiritual progress. Wow. Such a person is called Pashugna. I repeat this line, it's very important. A person fully absorbed in bodily concept of life is surely killing himself by by not making spiritual progress, pashugna, especially excluded from spiritual life. Especially excluded from spiritual life are the animal hunters who are not interested in hearing and chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Such hunters are always unhappy, both in this life and in the next. It is therefore said that a hunter should neither die nor live, because for such persons, both living and dying are troublesome. Animal hunters are completely different from ordinary karmis, and thus they have been excluded from the process of hearing and chanting. Vina pashugnat. They cannot enter into the transcendental pleasure of chanting and hearing the holy name of the Lord. Hare Kṛṣṇa. So the same verse is going on. Which verse? 10.1.4. Nivritta tarshe upagiyamana bhavo shadachotra manobhirama kauttama shloka gunanuvada umam virajit vina pashugnat. The last line is being discussed here. Shotra manobhirama. There, it's very, very dearing to everyone. We discussed in the last paragraph. In this verse, puman virajit, those who give up this wonderful process of hearing are basically killing their own self. Pashugnat. They will neither attain happiness in this life nor in the next, like a hunter. So in short, if one has achieved the human form of life, one must engage in the hearing of the holy names, forms, and qualities of the Lord. That is the process, the remedy, the bhavaushadhi, to get rid of the cycle of birth and death. There is no other way, no other way. Naste naste gatir anyatha. Okay, since we have discussed this, so we'll move a little quick here so we can complete this. So we'll read the next two paragraphs. Anyone wants to read? Yes, Vipul bro, you want to read this?
For ancient devotees, the word Maharatha refers to great hero who can fight alone against 11,000 heroes, and the word Oti-Ratha, as found in the text 5, refers to one who can fight against an unlimited number. This is mentioned in Mahabharata as follows: Akadosha Shasrani Juddhat Yastu Dan Vinam Astra Shastra Pravishnascha Maharatha iti smrita Omitan Jodhyat Yastu Sampraktu Atithastu Sha. This is the description given in Brihat Vaishnava Toshoni by Srila Sanatana Goswami. Maha Manushaya. Because of being covered by Yogamaya, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yogamaya Samabritam, Krishna is sometimes called Maha Manusya, Maya Manusya, indicating that although he is the Supreme Person of Godhead, he appears like an ordinary person. A misunderstanding arises because Yogamaya covers the vision of the general public. The Lord's position is actually different from that of an ordinary person. For although he appears to act like an ordinary man, he is always transcendental. The word Maya also indicates mercy, and sometimes it is also means knowledge. The Lord is always full of all transcendental knowledge, and therefore, although he acts like a human being, he is a supreme person of Godhead, full of knowledge. In his original identity, the Lord is the controller of Maya, Maya Dakshana Prakriti Shuratasha Characharam. Therefore, the Lord may be called Maya Manusya, or Supreme Person of Godhead, playing like an ordinary human being, although he is a controller of both the material and spiritual energies. The Lord is the Supreme Person, Purushottama, but because we are deluded by Yoga Maya, he appears to be an ordinary person. Ultimately, however, Yogamaya induces even a non-devotee to understand the Lord as a Supreme Person, Purushottama. In Bhagavad Gita, we find two statements given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For the devotees, the Lord says, Tesham Shatata Juktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Dadami Buddhi Jagantam Yana Mam Upayantite. To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Thus, Bhagavad Gita 10.10, thus for the willing devotee, the Lord gives intelligence by which to understand Him and return home back to Godhead. For others, for non-devotees, the Lord says, Mrityu sarva haraschaham, I am the all-plundering, inevitable death. A devotee like Prahlad enjoys the activities of Lord Narasimha, whereas a non-devotee like Prahlad's father, Hiranyakashipu, meet death before the Lord Narasimha. The Lord therefore acts in two ways, by sending some onto the path of repeated birth and death, and sending others back home, back to Godhead. So Prabhuji, here that initially the two words Maharatha and Otirata was explained. Maharatha, great hero, and more than bigger than that, or bigger hero or greater hero is Otirata. And Maya Manushya. So Krishna also, Lord also called as a Maya Manushya. As in Gita, he said that Obhijanti Mam Mora Manushim Tonum Asitam. So when Krishna comes with the human body, Obhijanti Mam Mora, the lower class of men don't understand him. Whatever way he comes, he always in a spiritual body. This is the one thing, but the common man cannot understand him because of the Maya, and they are under the control of the Maya. But devotees are out of the Maya and they are controlled by the Yogamaya, so they can identify the Lord and surrender to Him. And devotees, Krishna always gives protection and all the necessary things from him. But the same Krishna, for the devotees, he becomes a demon, at least as it comes as a death, inevitable death. Back to Prabhuji, Hare Kṛṣṇa. The example given by Prahlad Maharaj, the Narasimha came to protect the Prahlad, but at the same time killed the demon Hiranyakashipu. But same Lord. Back to Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Okay, let's read the next segment of the. Would like to read from here the word. Sunil Prabhu, want to read?
Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhuji, sure. Hare Kṛṣṇa, devotees, Dandat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. The word Kala, meaning black, indicates the color of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Lord Krishna and Lord Ramachandra, who both look blackish, gave liberation and transcendental bliss to their devotees among persons possessing material bodies. Sometimes someone is able to subject death to his own will. For such a person, death is almost impossible because no one wants to die. Although Bhishma Deva possessed this power, Bhishma, by the supreme will of the Lord, died very easily in the Lord's presence. There have also been many demons who had no hope of salvation, yet Kamsa attained salvation by the supreme will of the Lord. Not to speak of Kamsa, even Putana attained salvation and reached the level of Lord's mother. Parikshit Maharaj, therefore, was very eager to hear about Lord, who was inconceivable qualities by which he gave liberation to anyone. Parikshit Maharaj, at the point of his death, was certainly interested in his liberation. When such a great and exalted personality of Lord behaves like an ordinary human being, although possessing inconceivable qualities, his behavior inconceivable qualities, his behavior is called Maya. Therefore, the Lord is described as Maya Manushya. This is the opinion of Srila Jiva Goswami. Mo refers to Mukti or salvation, and Ku refers to that which is bad or very obnoxious. Thus, Mukhu refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who saves one from the bad condition of material existence. The Lord is called Mukunda because he not only saves the devotee from material existence, but offers him transcendental bliss in love and service. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, what you want me to continue, Prabhuji? Okay. As for Keshava, Ka means Brahma and Isha means Lord Shiva. The personality of Godhead captivates both Lord Brahma and Mahadeva or Shiva by his transcendental qualities. Therefore, he is called Keshava. This opinion is given by Sanatana Goswami in his Vaishnava Toshani commentary. It is said that all the demigods accompanied by three Nayana, Lord Shiva, went to the shore of ocean of milk and offered their prayers through the mantra known as Purusha Sukta. From the statement, it is understood that the demigods cannot directly approach Lord Vishnu, who lies in the ocean of milk, or enter his abode. This is also clear. Yeah, demigods cannot approach. Yeah, this is also clearly stated in Mahabharata, Moksha Dharma, and the next chapter of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has his abode in Goloka. Goloka namni nijadamni talacha tasya. From Lord Krishna come the Chaturvyuha, the quadruplant expansion of Sankarshana, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, and Vasudeva. There are innumerable Brahmandas, all of which emanate from the pores of the Karanodakshaya Vishnu, and in every Brahmanda there is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, who is the partial expansion of Aniruddha. Thus, Aniruddha is the partial expansion of Pradyumna, who is the partially represented as Śrī Vishnu, the super soul of all living entities. These Vishnu expansions are different from Krishna, who resides in Goloka Vrindavana. When it is said that the demigods offered prayer to the Lord by chanting Purusha Sukta, this indicates that they please the Lord by enchanting the prayers of Bhakti. So, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. So many points Prabhupada covered in a small area. So, where we can see that even the demigods and Lord Brahma himself cannot reach the Supreme Lord Krishna. They go to the shore of the Milky Ocean and pray for Lord Krishna, and then they get Vani from Lord Vishnu directly, or through his energies. And also Prabhupada already mentioned how what is the meaning of Madhava, Keshava, and not only he gives liberation to devotees. What to name of devotees, even the demons get liberated, like Kamsa, Putana, he gave mother's position. So such a merciful Lord he is. That's what I understood, Prabhuji. Please add Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. There were two new meanings. One is Keshavaka means Brahma, Isha means Lord Shiva. The Supreme Lord captivates Lord Brahma and Shiva, therefore he is called Keshava. Then the word is Mukunda. So Mu means Mukti or salvation. Ku means bad. The one who saves one from the bad or the obnoxious is Mukunda. The Lord saves one's devotee from the bad influence of the material world and takes one to the spiritual world. So this is why also he is called Mukunda. So very nice meanings here. Let's continue reading so we can complete the notes. Who wants to read? Yes, Lakshay, Prabhu. Read.
Hare Krishna. The word Rishakapi refers to one who satisfies his devotee in every way and frees his devotee from all material anxieties. Risha refers to religious performances like sacrifices. Even without the execution of sacrifices, the Lord can still enjoy the supermost comfort of the heavenly planets. The statement that Purushottama Jagannatha would appear in the house of Vasudeva distinguishes the Supreme Personality of Godhead from ordinary persons. The statement that he personally appeared indicates that he did not spend his plenary expansion. The word Priyartam indicates that the Lord appeared to please Rukmini and Radharani. Priya means the most beloved. In the commentary of Śrī Viraragava-acharya, the following extra verse is accepted after text 23. Rishayo api tad adashat kalpyantam pashurupina payodana mukanapi Vishnum talpayatum sura. O demigods, even great sages following the order of Vishnu appeared in forms of cows and calves to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead by delivering milk. Ramanujacharya sometimes accepts Baladev as a Sakya Evasa avatar, but Srila Jiva Goswami has explained that Baladeva is an expansion of Krishna and that a part of Baladeva is a son Kṛṣṇa. Although Baladeva is identical with Sankarsana, he is the origin of Sankarsana. Therefore, the word Svarat has been used to indicate that Baladeva always exists in his own independence. The word Svarat also indicates that Baladeva is beyond the material conception of existence. Maya cannot attract him, but because he is fully independent, he can appear by his spiritual potency wherever he likes. Maya is fully under the control of Vishnu. Because the material potency is Yoga Maya, mingled in the Lord's appearance, they are described as Ekanamsha. Sometimes Ekanamsha is interpreted to mean without differentiation. Sankarsana and Sheshanaga are identical. As stated by Yamuna Devi, O Rama, O great armed master of the world, who have extended yourself throughout the entire universe by one planetary expansion. It is not possible to understand you fully. Therefore, Ekamsha refers to Sheshanaga. In other words, Baladeva is merely by his partial expansion. His partial expansion sustains his universe. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhuji.
Very well. Thank you, Prabhu. So here is the mention that the Supreme Lord came in his full form when he came as Krishna in one day of Brahma. And the Lord appears to multiple reasons, as we have discussed, to please the demigods, to please his devotees, etc. Okay, let's read the next section so we can complete these last two pages before we pause today. Yes, Mataji, you want to read, please.
Dandat Pranam, devotees, Jai Srila Prabhupada. The word Karyarthe refers to one who attracted the pregnancy of Devaki and bewildered Mother Yashoda. These pastimes are very confidential. The Supreme Personality of Godhead ordered Yogamaya to bewilder his associates in its pastimes and bewilder demons like Kamsa. As stated previously, Yogamayam Sama Dishat. To give service to the Lord, Yogamaya appeared along with Mahamaya. Mahamaya refers to Yaya Sammohitam Jagat, one who bewilders the entire material world. From this statement, it is to be understood that Yogamaya, in her partial expansion, becomes Mahamaya and bewilders the conditioned souls. In other words, the entire creation has two divisions, transcendental or spiritual and material. Yogamaya manages the spiritual world, and by her partial expansion as Mahamaya, she manages the material world. As stated in the Narad Pancharatra, Mahamaya is a partial expansion of Yogamaya. The Narada Pancharatra clearly states that the Supreme Personality has one potency, which is sometimes described as Durga. The Brahma Samhita says, Chaiva yasya bhuvanani bibharti Durga. Durga is not different from Yogamaya. When one understands Durga properly, he is immediately liberated. For Durga is originally the spiritual potency, Ladini Shakti, by whose potency one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead very easily. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Ladini Shakti Rasmat. The Mahamaya Shakti, however, is a covering of Yogamaya, and she is therefore called the covering potency. By this covering potency, the entire material world is bewildered. Yasya samhoitam jagat. And in conclusion, bewildering the conditioned souls and liberating the devotees are both functions belonging to Yogamaya. Transferring the pregnancy of Devaki and keeping Mother Yashoda in deep sleep were both done by Yogamaya. Mahamaya cannot act upon such devotees, for they are always liberated. But although it is not possible for Mahamaya to control liberated souls or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, she did bewilder Kamsa. The action of Yogamaya in presenting herself before Kamsa was the action of Mahamaya, not Yogamaya. In Chandi, in the Markandeya Purana, 11th chapter, Mahamaya says, during the 28th yuga, in the period of Vaivasvata Manu, I shall take birth as the daughter of Yashoda and be known as Vindhyachala Vasini. The distinction between the two Mayas, Yogamaya and Mahamaya, is described as follows. Krishna's Rasalila with the gopis and the gopis' bewilderment in respect to their husbands, father-in-law, and other such relatives were arrangements of Yogamaya in which Mahamaya had no influence. The Bhagavatam gives sufficient evidence of this when it clearly says, Yogamaya upashritaha. On the other hand, there were asuras headed by Shalva and Kshatriyas like Duryodhana who were bereft of a devotional service in spite of seeing Krishna's carrier Garuda and the universal form, and who could not understand Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This was also bewilderment, but this bewilderment was due to Mahamaya. Therefore, it is to be concluded that the Maya, which drags a person from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is called Jada Maya, and the Maya which acts on the transcendental platform is called Yogamaya. When Nanda Maharaj was taken away by Varuna, he saw Krishna's opulence, but nonetheless, he thought of Krishna as his son. His such feelings of parental love in the spiritual world are acts of Yogamaya, not of Jadamaya or Mahamaya. This is the opinion of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Back to you, Prabhu. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Krishna. Mataji. So there's a difference between the Yogamaya and Mahamaya, as we were discussing in Bhagavad Gita also. Mahatmanastu mam partha devim prakritim ashritaha. The Mahatmas, the pure devotees, as mentioned here, like Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Mata, Devaki, Vasudeva, etc., they are not under the Mahamaya, they are under the Yogamaya potency, which helps to enhance the rasa in the Leela. If Mata Yashoda thinks Krishna as God, then there is no rasa of maternal affection. But Kamsa, under the influence of Mahamaya, or the material energy. Who is the expansion of the Yoga Maya, as Prabhupada is mentioning here, that the Chayaiva Yasya Bhuvanani Vibharti Durga. Durga is not different from Yoga Maya. So that's the transcendental difference here, but we have to switch from be under the shelter of Yogamaya, or the spiritual energy of the Lord, by Shravanam, Kirtanam, etc. So last, okay, one point here was there. I hope everyone knows this point. Is this line clear to everyone? During the 28th Yoga, in the period of Vivasvat Manu, I shall take birth as a daughter of Yashoda and be known as Vindhyachalavasini. So are these terms clear? Why 28th is used? What is Vivasvat Manu? Is everyone clear with that, or you need some more?
Yes, Prabhu.
No, I'm not clear. Can you
Sure.
elaborate, please?
Sure, Prabhuji. So there are, in one day of Brahma, which is called Kalpa, there are 14 Manus. Right now, the period which is going on is Vivasvat Manu, which is the 7th Manu. So technically half day of Brahma is over. And in each Manu, there are how many yugas? 71 Chatur Yugas. 71 Chatur Yugas are there in each Manu. So what is 71 times 14? Right, that's 994. Yes, and then the
And there
6
are
is
6 Yuga Sandhyas.
So 1000 basically, just to approximate 1000 Chatur Yugas in each day of Brahma, and in each Manvantara 71. So 14 times 71. Now, out of the 71 Chatur Yugas, 28th is going on, which is present. Presently, it is the end of 28th Chatur Yuga. Satyuk, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali. So Dwapar is over, about 5,000 years back, and the 28th Kali Yuga is going on. That's the 28th, 7th Manvantar, 28th Chatur Yuga. So this is from Markandeya Purana. So different scriptures tell the same point. And some of you may have heard of Vindhyachala Parvat. And of course, Durga Devi is famous in multiple places. Some of you may have been to, Mata, Jai Mata, Di Jammu. I was in Vindhyachal, working for actually 2-3 years. A lot of pilgrims used to come in this place. It was a very, very big temple of Durga Devi, and thousands, big number of people used to come. So there are a lot of temples of Durga Devi across the country, because this was the benediction given that you will be more famous. You'll be more famous than me. Therefore, Durga Devi, a lot of Durga worshippers are there throughout the country. Okay, so we will read here last. Who wants to read this section? Anyone wants to read?
Yeah, I can read. Hare Kṛṣṇa devotees. Suraj Senam Cha, the son of Kartavirya Arjuna was Surasena, and the countries he ruled were also called Surasena. This is noted by Sanatana Goswami in his Vaishnava Tosanich commentary. In regard to Mathura, we find this quotation. Matyate tu jagat sarvam. Can you scroll up, please? Matyate tu jagat sarvam brahmakyanena yena va tatsara bhutam yadyasyam mathura sa nigadyate. When a self-realized soul acts in its transcendental position, his situation is called Mathura. In other words, when one acts in the process of bhakti yoga, he may live anywhere, but actually he lives in Mathura, Vrindavana. Devotion to Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, is the essence of all knowledge. And wherever such knowledge is manifested is called Mathura. Also, when one establishes bhakti yoga, excluding all other methods, one situation is called Mathura. Yatra Nityaṁ Sanahito Harihi. The place where Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, lives eternally is called Mathura. The word Nitya indicates eternality. The Supreme Lord is eternal, and his abode is also eternal. Goloka eva nivasati akilatma bhutaha. Although the Lord is always stationed in his abode, Golaka Vrindavana, is present everywhere in fullness. This means that when the Supreme Lord descends to the surface of the world, his original abode is not vacant, for he can remain in his original abode and simultaneously descend upon Mathura, Vrindavana, Ayodhya, and other places. He does not need to descend since he is already present there. He simply manifests himself. Sri Sukadeva Goswami has addressed Maharaj Parikshit as Tata, or beloved son. This is due to parental love in the heart of Sukadeva Goswami. But because Krishna was soon coming as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, out of parental affection, Sukadeva Goswami addressed Maharaj Parikshit as Tata, my dear son. Is that it?
Yeah, we read the.
We read beyond this. Okay. All right. Thank you. Hare Kṛṣṇa. Back to you.
Thank you, Prabhu. I think very important point here that when the Lord expands, it's not that, who's going to take care of Goloka Vrindavan. So he can manifest in unlimited ways, unlimited incarnations, etc. Yet he is present everywhere at the same time. If I am present here in Punta Gorda and I go to Tampa, then I'm not in Punta Gorda, right? Or if I go to Jackson, I'm not in Punta Gorda, right? And so applies for, I guess, all of you as well, unless someone has special siddhis. But this Krishna, that's the difference between the Jiva and the Supreme Lord. Jiva is infinitesimal. Krishna is infinite. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate. Actually, you learned that verse? Okay, tell.
I forgot like a bit, like the beginning part. So it's like
Om Purnam
Purnam Mada Purnamidam Purnat Purnasya Mudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhyaya Purnamevaya Vashishyate.
Very nice. Good job. So the Lord is complete. The Lord is infinite. Infinite minus infinite is infinite. Infinite minus 10 million is also infinite. Infinite plus infinite is also infinite. In short, all these incarnations come from the Supreme Lord, yet he still remains Purna. Yet his Goloka Vrindavan is not vacant. So, to wrap up this chapter, a lot of wonderful lessons here. We discuss about the glories of hearing process in the beginning. We discuss the glories of Parikshit Maharaj, Shukdev Goswami, and look at the dynamics of the words. Sometimes Parikshit Maharaj is addressed as Raja, sometimes as Tat. Tat means, oh, my dear child, because Krishna is appearing as the child. Sometimes he's addressed as Rishi, Raj Rishi. So lot of dynamics is there in Sanskrit, such a beautiful language. while addressing Parikshit Maharaj, the moods, the emotions going through in the heart of the Shukdev Goswami are also expressed here. Then the main, I think, in my humble opinion, the main essence of this chapter is the greatness of Vasudev Maharaj. How Vasudev Maharaj showed exemplary qualities, exemplary speech. So many verses he spoke about the science of body and soul, and such how he tried to save the life of Devaki, how he tried to be equipoised, tolerant, and very careful in his words, actions, and so many lessons are there to learn from Vasudev Maharaj in the greatness of a person tested in provoking circumstances. The demigods, before that, demigods go to the Brahma and they all pray at Shita Sagara, Shweta Deepa, Lord, please come, help us, we are in trouble. Then the Lord Brahma had that special connection. When we have the special connection, Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavi, the Lord said, okay, I will come and you all take birth and assist in the Ugrasena and in the Vraja, in the Mathura, you appear and then I will come soon. And finally, Kamsa agreed, okay. When Vasudev said, I will give my every child who is born. The first one was born and his name was, who knows the name? Anyone knows the first child, Vasudev's name?
Kirti.
Kirti?
Kirtiman.
Kirtiman, yes. So they were the sons of Kalanemi. Kalanemi was the son of Hiranyakashipu in this previous life. They were the sons of Kalanemi in the previous life, and Kalanemi became Kamsa, and the sons became the Shadgarbhas. The hidden meaning is when the Shadgarbhas are clear, then the Supreme Lord appears. So Narada Muni intervenes in the situation when Kamsa's heart changes, and any son could be the first son or the last son or the eighth son. So better, I have heard from the upper planets that they can, the demigods are appearing to kill you, and so be careful. Then Kamsa puts Devaki and Vasudeva in the shackles and kills the sons one after the other, and that's how this chapter 1 basically ends at that note. Okay, so we'll kind of pause here. Thank you so much for your wonderful association, and today's Ekadashi as well. And I think what you said, the Yagya is going to start at 11:30 local time. One can join through the Zoom ID, if Prabhuji allows. Give your blessing. 11:30 local time. So what time is there now? Mauritius. What time is it in Mauritius? Let's figure out. 5:30. Okay, so after 6 hours. 6 hours. Everyone is. You can feel free to join, but Mataji, it will be a little kind of time, but maybe in the morning when the japa begins, we can take darshan of your yagya, and maybe you can send us the pictures or some photos or videos. That will be the best, and you please pray for on behalf of all of us and give the blessings and for Lord Nrsimhadev, you are doing yagya. Please pray for all of us as well, so we can also get the blessings. Thank you so much, Mataji, for that you are doing this wonderful yagya.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. If you could join, it would be so nice. But it will be too early for you, I think.
I don't know if I should say it will be too early or
Too late.
Kind of like 2 a.m. 2 a.m.
Oh, yeah. 2 a.m. Oh, it's too early. Never mind, I'll send pictures. I would like you to see all because it's going to be big yet.
Oh, sure.
Anyway,
yeah.
Anyway, I like this participation. I like my association with you all, especially you, Prabhuji and Mataji. Thank you so much.
We are so blessed to have your association, Mataji. Thank you. And all the best for the yagya.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so
Raj
much.
Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Purana ki jai, Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta Mahamotsav ki jai, Śrī Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhya eva cha Patithanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo. Thank you. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare